So I did tell you that I knew the name Brian was going to start popping up, like, left and right? Like, popping up out of the woodwork, like, I don't know, however long ago that was, that you said, like, Brant's friend name is Brian, and I was like, I totally know that name is going to, like, start popping up everywhere. So, Rachel, the one that I learned, like, that I got certified in Reiki from, and, oh my gosh, I know it's late. I've actually been doing pretty good at, like, going to bed around, like, 10:30, 11 again, so, like, thank goodness. I have not been awake at 12:30. Man, I gotta put that one down in my gratitude journal for sure, that I'm thankful for, like, multiple nights of good night sleep now lately. So Rachel today was like, was it today? It was yesterday, last night. I went and hung out with her and her friend Rhonda, they were hanging out at this, like, restaurant bar kind of a thing. So I went there after I got pizza and just got, like, a drink with them. And then, I don't know how it came up. She said something about, like, so Rhonda is divorced twice, I think. And something about her future partner's name being Ben. I was like, oh, I think I said something first. I don't even know how it came up. And I said, well, I don't know where you lie, like, spiritually. But I was like, yeah, like, my future partner's name is Brian. Like, I already, like, I've met him in my dreams. And, so Rachel, like, pulls out her phone and shows me this guy from her, like, Instagram that she's friends with, some guy named Brian, and she's like, you know, like, here's Brian. But I was like, well, he looks like fun. That's awesome. I definitely think my future Brian's going to be a lot of fun, too. I was like, I don't think that's him, but yeah. And then came up again. So then, so Rachel and Rhonda live in the same, like, community, together. And then there's this guy, Justin, who lives in there too. They all, like live, like, right next to each other, basically. Although I think he just moved out. But so then he's talking about, like, his past roommates and stuff like that. And all of a sudden he's like, said something about one of them being Brian. I was like, oh, there it is again. And I was like, I know, like, it's just, like, letting me know, like, hey, Brian's coming. Like, Brian's still coming into your life. So, yeah. So now, the name Brian is popping up out of the woodwork like crazy. Like I told you, I knew it was gonna, like, I was like, I have a feeling, like, the name Brian's gonna be, like, popping up, like, left and right. And it is starting. Which is kind of exciting, right? Because it means, like, he's coming into my life, or I don't know, maybe, like, just letting me know he is still coming. But, so then Rachel said something about going paddleboarding tomorrow. And, she's like, so if you want to go, I was like, yeah, I want to go, let's go. So meeting up with them again tomorrow morning at 7 a.m. and going paddleboarding for my first time. And Rhonda's going for her first time too. I was totally going to go stop and get gas. I think I'm going to actually go back and go get gas because I actually, like, I don't know. I want to fill my car up with gas. So yes. So I love that you're, like, listening to the messages. So I've been learning all about, like, signs and synchronicities from my therapist. Like, things that help get you messages to help you along your path in life, right? So I told my therapist, and I was like, I don't know, there's, like, I keep seeing, like, Washington license plates, like, all over, and then, like flies and she sent me like what the totem, like animal totem is for like fly, which was like rapid change, and I can't remember what else. And then she also, so then I was like seeing a lot of like planes and stuff like that, and like Eric would be like point out planes like all the time, and I'm like just like I'm seeing all these planes. And then I started noticing more like southwest ones in particular, and I was like asking my therapist, I'm like, so what do I do with this? Like, okay, like I'm seeing Washington, I'm seeing like planes. Like, she was like, well, do you know anybody that lives in Washington? And I was like, I dated a guy. Actually, I think I've been to Washington twice. I think I went to Washington with Kevin too, one of my ex-boyfriends. I don't know where that was. I'm gonna have to ask my parents, because I went out there with him and his like family and like his ex-girlfriend, and yeah, she, like, man, I really did date like some narcissists without realizing it, because he actually taught me how to fish, like, because my grandpa didn't teach me. I guess like he only taught the boys, and so my ex Kevin taught me how to fish. And he actually had psoriasis, like experienced psoriasis too. Now that I think about that, that's interesting. So I went out there with him and his family, or him and his sister and his ex-girlfriend, or maybe we flew out there and we met his like family there. Maybe we stayed with his family, and his sister and his ex-girlfriend came with us. And this shouldn't surprise me, because this is something I would do. So like the first day we went snowboarding, and it was like an icy blue, and I was like falling on my ass like every 2 seconds, didn't know what I was doing. His ex-girlfriend actually stayed with me and helped like teach me, and Kevin, my boyfriend, just like went off like to who knows where, right? To go do his own thing. Of course, back then I like didn't realize like just how unhealthy or whatever that was. And how nice of her that was to teach me. So anyways, then I was asking my therapist, I'm like, what do I do with these? You know, like I keep seeing Washington, and I was like, well, I dated somebody there briefly, and then I forgot about the other guy, Kevin, that I dated. And I dated this guy like briefly in grad school. I met him in a club in Las Vegas, and he flew me out. So I think I actually stayed that night with him. We didn't like do anything. We did kiss. I don't remember what this guy's name is, but I'm pretty sure we're friends on Facebook still. And I'm pretty sure I have pictures. I do have pictures of that, like in an album on Facebook. So then he flew me out there, and I went and stayed with him for I don't even know how long. Like this guy that I just met in Vegas, right? I'm definitely known for doing this, aren't I? Huh. Good to know. Like, because this was before Dave. Like, I really am an adventurous spirit at heart. Like, sure, I just met you. Sure, I'll go fly out. Like, I flew out by myself because he flew me out. So I actually have flown by myself. I thought I'd never flown solo, but I did. And I flew out there and stayed with him for like a week or something like that. And we went to Snoqualmie Falls and stuff. And I know there's so much background story to this. So then, I was like, well, this guy, but I was like, I don't, like, we dated, but I don't, like, know anybody, like, to go up there and visit. And she's like, well, ask the universe to be more specific. Say, like, you want more specific, like, you know, like, details about, like, what are you supposed to do with this? So I did, like, right after she texted me and told me this, my therapist told me to ask for, like, more clarifications on signs. So this is what you can do with the public speaking and the podcast, and say, okay, I'm receiving these signs, these messages, what exactly, like, give me more clarification, please, on what it is that I'm supposed to do with public speaking. I'm gonna wipe this off. Public speaking and the podcast. So I asked for more clarification, right, about, like, Washington and the planes. And so, no joke, so I'm out to eat, I take a picture of the gluten-free pizza, send it to Rachel, because she's also gluten-free, and she tells me she's out with her friend Rhonda, and then she ends up inviting me out to come have a drink with them after. So I go out, I have a drink with them, and Rhonda, and like, this is, like, going over my head the whole time, right? Rhonda's, like, talking about how she's a flight attendant, and she's from Spokane, and she's a flight attendant for Southwest Airlines, and here's me, like, super new to this whole, like, signs and synchronicities and this stuff, right? Totally going over my head. And then all of a sudden, like, we're talking about, like, spirituality, and I said something about that I've been receiving signs about Washington and flying, and she goes, well, that's me. And I was like, oh my God, it's you. And I was like, holy crap, the universe has been sending me signs about you. I was like, you are a flight attendant. She was like, yeah, I'm a flight attendant from Washington. That's me. And I was like, oh my God. Like, she literally had to spell it out for me. Look at the light. See? So cool. And it's like, yeah, you're connected. You get it. That's really cool. And it's, like, going down to my heart too. That's even more fun. I love this. So, yeah, so she literally, like, spelled it out for me. She was like, well, that's me. I'm from Washington, and I'm a flight attendant. And I was like, holy crap, it's you. So, like, I've been manifesting that I attract like-minded, like, that was my whole manifestation, thing that I shared, that I attract like-minded connections and relationships. And then I did edit it a little bit to say I attract deep relationships. So, like, we'll see how this goes. But it was very interesting that I, like, legit asked the universe. I was like, okay, can you, like, send me some clarification? Like, I need more clarification on this. I'm so confused by, like, Washington and planes, and what is it that I'm supposed to know about this? What am I supposed to do with this information? What? And then I, like, met her literally the next night. Like, this was on Thursday that I asked my therapist, and then Friday evening I met her. And she still had to spell it out for me, but I was like, holy crap, that's so cool. So, I don't know what that little light, was that on the, did you see that little light? It was like, oh, like, right there. Do you see that? Can you, like, is that something that, I don't think it's on my screen. Oh, I just accidentally zoomed. There. That. You see the little light that's, like, across my face? What is that? How crazy is that as I'm talking about this whole science thing? Like, that's on the video. Okay. Anywho, I'm gonna get gas, but I figured I'd share. And then that way you can ask, too, for more clarification about what you're supposed to do for, like, public speaking and the podcast. And I love you. And I hope you're having an amazing weekend. I'm super excited that you're, like, almost moved into the St. Joe home.